So
Yeah,
let me ask you another question, because this is a question that I have. If and I'm hoping that a lot of PMOs have this question too. They said, okay, it's here, it's not going away. I might feel a little bit out of my depth. I might feel like there's a generational gap. Am I still relevant? Can I still learn? I still think that we older people can still learn. I think that I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah.
Let's use this context example of PMO. If I'm a PMO in a large organization, right, and I say AI is relevant, everybody's hearing about it. They have assumptions about it, but nobody, as usual, knows where to start. Where would a PMO start if I want to get ahead of the ball, right? As a PMO, and don't want to wait for somebody to start questioning my relevance, but I said, okay, I want to buy into this technology. I want to be ahead of everybody. Where would be a good place for a PMO director to begin? Because to implement AI requires technical software, system approaches, organizational thinking. Where would be a good place for a PMO director for a large company to begin to start putting their big toe into the big pool of AI?
Yeah. Well, for me, the biggest question that I challenge my clients with who are thinking of these same components is to really determine what we do not want artificial intelligence to do for us. And so that is where I would start. Because over time, is that artificial intelligence as an instance may be able to do a number of, we talked earlier about a wide range of different roles that PMOs do that in time artificial intelligence could do, support features, data analysis, scheduling, dependency management, writing reports,
doing protocols for meetings,
data analytics. And so for me, it's the decision of what do we not want AI to do in our PMO context, and what do we want to remain with, either on that continuum, a fully human service if we've got capacity, or something that will say, well, what is, as I call it in my doctoral research, the human to AI ratio that we think will work best in our situations. And I like to think of many organizations, especially of scale, if they're making a deliberate choice, there might be parts of the organization operating model that will be fully artificial intelligence. It will be AI working with AI to provide services and functions. But then there is a deliberate choice about, well, maybe we still need the artisans. Who do you want to make your sourdough bread in the morning? Do you want a baker who's got a lot of experience? Or do you want an AI to sort of go with the packet mix and do the kneading and the process? So it ends up being, for me, any PMO lead is to think, well, where are the areas that I need to get the greatest traction and value for my business? What's the proportion of PMO efficiency benefits that maybe we can reallocate to doing more exciting projects in the good of our company or good of the community? And then what are the elements we really do not want AI to do, which is probably, do you want to sack people or make them redundant with AI just automatically generating, or a chatbot having that communication? Or is that something that maybe we want to keep the human to human interaction?
Is this your social background speaking?
Well, this is my perspective of what's come through my research. Is one of the biggest sort of components from a guiding principles perspective is that people wanted to maintain not just a process and interface efficiency lens. They wanted to also make sure that human dignity and empathy was maintained as part of the value proposition. Which may rub against some of the values of organizations who are for profit and only are driven by economic lenses, as opposed to, well, should we do this? It's just a provocation.
You're not surprising me, because I've looked at your website. I know you a little bit, but you are moving me. I have to say I'm profoundly impressed with what you're saying. I didn't expect you to go there. Maybe to use contextual language that we often use in project management, the two bingo words we often use in project management is the concept of framework right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to refer to just framework that we have in the PMBOK guide, but I'm talking. What I like about the framework is kind of process, structure, organizational elements. It's kind of the bricks and mortar that you need. And then a lot of people talk about fundamentals, or they talk about foundational concepts. And I think the most powerful thing also in the PMBOK guide is not all the framework stuff. It's valuable, but you can learn it fairly quickly. I think the true profundity of the PMBOK guide is in the foundational concepts. And I often find that they're kind of, like when you have a dog and you have to give your dog a pill, you put it into a cookie and having it. I think in the PMBOK guide, a lot of the foundational concepts that are really, really important are being missed. And so let me give you my definition. For me, the foundation is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You can have a beautiful building, but if your foundation sucks, your building might be beautiful, but it's going to have, it's going to be at a tilt. And I absolutely love, and I'm totally impressed, and kudos to you, that when I was actually looking for kind of a process answer, you said, no, Mark, we need to start at a foundational level. And I couldn't agree with you more, and power to you. I will say that one of the things that popped out on your website, which made me smile, and I said, if she believes this, I'm totally impressed with this woman. You have a kind of a value statement on there that says, right at the beginning, it says, Elissa believes organizations can be a force for good. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you've confirmed that for me. I think in this classical world where a lot of that is lip service, when we're talking about CSR and a lot of people like to say that, we're green, we're schmeen. I don't know. Have you seen the recent video of Apple?
No, I haven't. Actually.
You have to look. You have to look at. I saw it on LinkedIn. They hired a well-known actress to play Mother Nature. And they have this board meeting where all the people in the board are different ages and different ethnic groups, are very diverse. And they're doing this report on corporate social responsibility and how they're going to be emissions free and stuff like that, which I thought was all wonderful. For us cynics, I could ask a bunch of questions that would probably hurt if they had to answer them. What are they doing to relieve child labor and slave labor in lithium mines? How does it look when it comes to their, where they have how many people, what's the suicide rate at the moment in the factories in China? These would be elements. But for you, you've proven to me you don't just do lip service. You actually believe that. I think that's a great place to start. So you have this also, you have this mentality. You need to identify your principles before you go on the journey. Is that kind of your approach to AI?
Yes, it is, and that was for me. My research process involved people from the end user's perspective.
Yes,
and so because of, again, from you can work out, I've got this social science background. I really care about people, and care about the community, and care about our planet. But I also am very mindful of that sometimes. When people set up their prioritization frameworks in their organizations, that they forget about that sort of deeper level, that deeper sort of sounds a bit esoteric, a little philosophical.
No, it's important
level.
Because if you don't have that, if you don't have the why, if you don't have the compass, and you just focus on the what, ultimately what happens in a capitalistic society or an efficiency driven, you're going to sacrifice what matters for what's faster and cheaper.
Because you can, right? And that's the glamour, and that's what vendors, often, this will be faster, and save you lots of money and speed up your time and processing. And that's the part of the dominant narrative. And